Hey everybody, this is Reza.
This is Sandy,
Welcome back to episode 38 of the Stone Cold Sober podcast.
recording this again at Reza's place here in Seattle. It's Sunday, our time Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
A few more hours before we have to head off to the airport, take the red eye back to New York. We've had quite the weekend.
Yeah, been busy.
Super busy. Yesterday was crazy. Let's talk about it.
So, so you got in Friday evening, right?
Friday evening, yeah. I wanted to land about 7:30.
Yeah. So after dinner and recording an episode for the podcast,
Yeah.
we went to sleep. Probably like at 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, we were just chilling for a minute. We were catching up.
Yeah.
We ended up lights out at around, let's say, 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m.
Yeah, 1:30. And I mean, we also had to go to the grocery store because we were packing for our trip on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. And then after the grocery store, we went to go get dinner at this place called the Bitter Root.
Yeah, so by the time we were done eating, it was probably around 11:30, 12 in the morning already.
Yeah.
Had to come back here and shower, get ready to go to sleep.
And when we ate at the Bitterroot, this barbecue place, we got like this huge thing of mac and cheese, and you got a half chicken. Is that thing still sitting in your fridge?
Yeah, we've already had meals for
We've had meals
every other part of the day, so
yeah.
I haven't even had a chance to go back and finish the leftovers.
And I got some brisket, but the serving size was so ridiculous that we were basically carbo loading for the hike the next day.
Yeah, so our plan was to take a hike of Blanca Lake, which is about 2 hours east of Seattle, the city.
Snoqualmie? Is that what it's place?
It's called Mountain Baker Snoqualmie Pass, but the mountain range, I don't really know how far it expands, but like I was on the complete opposite side of it, where I went to see the waterfall about a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think I mentioned it on the podcast before.
Yeah.
And so this is like the opposite end. There's supposed to be this really beautiful lake that's, I guess, comes from a glacier.
Yeah.
It's like this nice aquamarine color. It's complete wilderness. It's about a
enclosed on all four sides by like mountain ranges.
Yeah.
Almost like a volcanic lake of sorts.
Exactly.
Fed by a glacier.
Yeah. And so it's a 2 hour drive to get there, and the hike is 3.5 miles, and I think it's an elevation gain of about 3,300 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be very popular. So they highly recommend that you get there early because you need to park. If you can't park in the parking lot, then you can park along the road, but it's a really narrow, dusty road.
Yeah.
And you have to be very careful about where you park, because if you park too close to too far into the road, then cars won't be able to pass you. And if you're halfway up a mountain, how's anybody going to find out who's the owner of the red Jeep?
Right. So we decided to bounce at what, 6?
Yeah, 6
Wake up
a.m.
at 5.
Wake up at 5 so we can eat breakfast. Get some energy, get a coffee to wake up, and leave at 6. But that meant we pretty much got about 3 hours of sleep the night before.
Oh my god! And woke up at 5, and I'm groggy as all hell. Quickly, so just like brushed my teeth, woke up. Didn't wake you up. He's like sent you a text like, "Yo, you still up?"
Like, get out of bed, because I was just laying in bed, just chilling, waiting for the urgency to actually kick in, because I didn't want to get out of bed yet.
And when you came out, I was already dressed in like compression gear, all ready to go. You made some breakfast. We made some oatmeal and some bagels with cream cheese.
Yeah.
You did that cool thing with the oatmeal. That was what, you boiled that in water first.
Yep.
And then you pour some milk into it.
Add a little bit of milk. So normally I add like a little bit of evaporated milk. It's like most people add like half and half to the coffee or tea, stuff like that.
That was a good look.
Yeah, we use
some brown sugar.
Yeah, evaporated milk and some sugar. Here, just use a little regular milk and add a little bit of brown sugar into it.
Yeah,
it was good though.
And then we had some bagels with cream cheese, and then we bounced out of here.
Let's tell them first how much food we bought for this trip.
Okay. So here's the thing: we went grocery shopping the day before.
Right.
And
we were hungry.
We were hungry because we did it before dinner.
Right.
But it was also at that point about like 9:30, I want to say.
Yeah, it was almost 10. It was probably around 10.
Probably around 10 we went to go grocery shopping. We bought 1.5 pounds pepper smoked turkey.
That was too much, but it was good.
Well, okay.
Got a 1.5 pounds of turkey.
We got 1.5 pounds of turkey. We got a couple. We got a package of Colby Jack. 8 French sourdough rolls.
Yeah.
Um, got this beautiful chipotle mustard. So good. We each bought about 2 pounds of grapes
Yep.
because
2 pounds of grapes.
you're the red grape guy
Yeah.
and I'm green grape guy,
Exactly.
and those grapes don't mix. We got 8 Gatorades.
Yeah.
Um, 2 bags of tortilla chips. Oatmeal raisin cookies.
Yeah.
Uh, Trail mix.
Yep.
Uh,
Fruit cocktail.
Fruit cocktails. That's serious.
Yep.
2 cans of fruit cocktail.
We didn't buy water, but we had plenty of water.
We had plenty of water here. I think that was it.
Yeah. Got about like $50-$60 worth of groceries. And
Yeah, I mean because the trail was 7.5 hours total.
yeah, that's what it's listed at, right? So
And 3.5 hours, 3,300 elevation change.
yeah.
Serious.
Yeah, so we made sure we were well prepared because everything that I've seen online, I see all these reviews, and because it's so popular, you get lots of different opinions on how complicated the trail is, how difficult it is, and how much you need to bring. So the one piece of advice that I saw that was the most common was bring more water than you think you need because people will be really dehydrated on the trail, and they typically have to share, they give out water as they run to people that have very little water. So I brought, I think, four, was it 16-ounce bottles of water and three, like 20-ounce bottles of Gatorade, right?
Onto the trip. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about how much food we brought
So,
enough in
well,
there.
I'm just saying when we packed, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because we packed quite a bit. I don't know how many pounds our bags were, but we packed quite a bit into our bags in the morning. Got that fruit cocktail and everything like that. Oh, and our Cokes. We got the Cokes too.
We got four. We brought four glass Cokes. We
Yeah.
figured we'd all share one.
Yeah, celebrating at the top.
Celebrate the top. Yeah. Job well done. So we left this place at 6 with full bags,
Yeah.
full packs, ready to go. Drove us out of here. No traffic.
Yeah.
And we drove out of Seattle relatively quickly, and then we started hitting those rural roads. Say that 3 times fast.
So we got out. So essentially, we head east. You cut through Bellevue, and then at that point, I think you go north for a little bit through Redmond, and then you head out even further east into the mountains. So yeah, you hit the rural roads pretty quickly.
Just a wilderness.
Yeah, but like the views are pretty awesome when
you're
driving
we stopped by
them.
Starbucks.
Oh yeah, we got a Starbucks coffee.
We needed some coffee. You got me
I got a 24-ounce thing of coffee. Sam was like, yeah, I'll do the coffee too. I was like, all right. So
I should have specified. I just only needed the small.
Yeah, you should have come in. We should have just gone.
Yeah, I don't know why I stayed in the car. I felt like it was serious for me to stay in the car. Like, I'll get us the coffee. Oh, because we needed to break the 20 for tolls and like to get into the park potentially. So I was like, all right, here, take my 20 to get us some coffee.
Yeah.
I just stayed in the car for some reason. Oh, it's because I'm talking to that girl on.
You were trying to. Okay, you still got to show me those texts too.
Yeah.
So we get the coffee. We're driving out.
And then you come back with this big coffee and oh, thanks, appreciate it. Drank a little bit and just started driving.
Right.
And then I didn't notice until as we're driving like out of the city and like closer and closer into like Mount Baker, Snoqualmie mountain range.
Yeah.
You start seeing these huge mountains jet up.
Right.
And the sun was still red because it was still rising. And then we kept taking photos while we were driving. It's like these beautiful mountains that are just rising up, tall and majestic, and the cars get fewer and fewer as we start turning onto like wilderness roads.
Right.
And for about you'd say a good 12, 15 miles, we're one-lane roads out there.
Or even at least more than that. Yeah. It's like 15, like a good 15 miles. I think.
And you can't drive fast
on the 2. Yeah, like it's the speed limit's like 60. It's listed at 60, and I was surprised by that. I mean, this is when it's still paved.
Oh yeah, right.
But then we cut off onto these like this. It's just like a dirt path. Like they call it like FR 65. If I remember that right, 4s or something. And it's just this dirt road, and good like 12 to 15 miles we're on this. There's one car in front of us. Yeah. That's the only car. No one else is leaving. Early in the morning.
Right.
And just driving out. Lots of bumps, but amazing views. We're taking lots of pictures as we're driving through there.
Yeah, we pull up, and there's at that point maybe 2, 3 parking spots left at 8:30.
I was surprised at how few. Yeah, we got there really early. There were lots of people getting there almost the exact same time as us. So we left my place at 6:15. We got there at 8:30 or so.
Time out there,
we made really good time. We got there in about 2 hours 15 minutes. I think it's listed at 2.5 hours. So we beat Google's suggested time.
Yeah. Mr. Leftfoot over here.
There are a few. there were a few parking spots left, but not a whole lot. So people started to
Not a
park
whole
more
lot.
along the outside. I know there were a couple spots on the inside, but that was it. Now to do this hike, you have to have a Northwest Forest Recreation Pass or something like that.
Right.
So essentially have to have a parking pass. It only costs $5 for the day, but you need it beforehand because if you don't, you get ticketed.
Right.
Right. So I bought the pass Thursday before Sandy got in. Put that up. You know, make sure we have all of our stuff in our bags. We start to clear out a couple things from our bags just to remove some of the weight.
Right. We were like, instead of bringing all 4 Cokes, we only brought 2.
Yeah.
We decided not to bring the chips or the cookies.
We didn't really decide not to bring the cookies. I think we
We
forgot them.
forgot about
We
them.
forgot a couple
Oh, that's
things,
right.
but
Because I was bitching about the
because we
fact
were
that
like,
I was gonna put chips in my sandwich at the time.
exactly, because we got to the top, we are like, yeah, it'd be nice to have some nice processed foods up here. We
Yeah.
got nothing but
Nothing but healthy
nothing but
stuff.
healthy stuff up here. So
Yeah.
we hit the bathroom real quick because the next bathroom was at the top, at least official designated bathroom was at the top.
Yeah. And
And
this bathroom still had 4 walls on the roof.
yeah, right. So, and there are plenty of people there with. I started to notice that people there with like their kids. I see
Their
lots of people there with their
dogs.
dogs. And again, I looked at a lot of information on this place because it's a very popular place. So I took into account a lot of things, a lot of what people said. That was bring tons of water because you're going to need it. And they said, don't bring your kids and don't bring your pets because some people's pets might not be able to make it, and
Right.
you won't be able to give them like the food and water that they need as you go up. So I'm still thinking like, how many people don't read these? Like, if you're going to find out about the place, you're typically finding out about the place from these sites where there's forums and reviews and information. You don't just go hiking just to, without looking into it a little bit. But still, all these people show up with their kids, and I'm like, I hope the kids can make it. Again, I guess it's kind of just, me passing judgment on them too, because their kids could be, they could be going hiking all the time. So their kids can be, way more conditioned for this than I.
Right.
So, well, we hit the trail. I think it. Oh, and then there was a little like. So I still don't know for sure if we needed to pay this, but it was like a daily fee. If you come there, it said $5. You
$5.
put $5 in this little envelope, put your license plate number on it,
Yeah.
and you leave a little stub on your dashboard. So I was also checking out lots of the cars around there because I'd also seen on these review sites that if you don't have a parking pass, you get ticketed. Never saw anything about this day pass. So that threw me for a loop right there. But we put the $5 in, put the thing on our dashboard. I was looking at lots of other cars and I saw plenty of people didn't have either. So I was pretty confident that they would get ticketed. But at this point, where it's
It's about
what 8:40,
8:40.
8:40, 8:45,
8:40. We start the trail.
finally hit the trail.
Beautiful trail.
Yeah,
Beautiful trail. Right into the wilderness, and you start heading up that mountain real quick.
yeah, it's thick forest.
Thick forest, real tall, healthy trees. I think the theme of the way up is switchbacks
Oh yeah, for sure.
because the site's at 30 plus switchbacks. They said you lose track of how many switchbacks, so we decided to actively try and keep track of how many switchbacks there were.
Yeah, but I think our problem was that
We didn't know
sometimes,
what counted.
yeah, sometimes you hit these turns and you're like, does that count as a switchback? Because it's not like a hard turn. It kind of just turns right and it just goes up. So
Yeah,
it's like, does that count as a switchback really? Um,
but it was nice and cool. When we drove up there, it was like 48 degrees outside
oh
when we
yeah,
started our hike, so it was nice and chilly.
I was worried that I was going to be cold. I was wearing some shorts and a short sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
You were wearing,
I was wearing full compression gear,
yeah, he got,
hiking boots.
yeah,
I wore the same thing I wore to my Zog football games.
yeah,
I figured I didn't want to get bit by ticks or nothing, so
yeah,
I put that stuff on, and I put this like red and blue tank on top
right.
with
Make
a
sure you're
hat.
visible. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, make sure we're
We
visible just in
wore,
case I decide to like fall off the mountain for some
yeah.
reason. Like, hey, there's that dude. We should probably help him.
I wore a bright green shirt. Yeah, make
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
exactly.
just want to be highly visible. People can see you coming.
Right.
They
We registered on the trail beforehand.
exactly.
All that jazz.
Try to be safe. That's
Yeah,
all.
so we start making our way, and before you know it, we're drenched.
Yeah, so I sweat easily. I
Same
sweat
here.
very easily. So it does not take. I was probably sweating before we even hit the first
I
switchback, just
believe
because
it. Me too, because
it was
we have
still.
full packs.
Yeah, it was still cool outside. It's probably like 50 degrees at this point. I was cool when we got out the car. It was a little cold, but as soon as you start getting into it, you're hitting these switchbacks, and it's also a little bit humid that day too.
A
It
little
wasn't too
humid.
humid, but it was a little humid. Um, and
I don't know if it was too humid, but you're right. A little
no, it
humid.
wasn't very humid, but I think it was a little humid because it was supposed to rain the day before. I don't know if it actually did,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
but I still think there was a bit humidity in the
Beautiful
air.
day overall. Can't
Very
stress how
beautiful.
beautiful the weather
Yeah,
was. Not
no clouds, right?
almost not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah,
Um, So yeah, we started hitting these switchbacks, and before you know, we're drenched.
Yeah.
We're drenched, and we're like 3 switchbacks in.
Right.
The switchbacks are they're pretty, I guess, sharp on them when they turn up.
Yeah,
Because
but
they're almost on top of each other, but you can tell as you start seeing people like maybe a switchback ahead of you,
yeah, or
they're
hear
a
them.
lot higher than you are.
That was the crazy thing. People say it's like, oh, it's psychological, like it really screws with your head because you're hitting these switchbacks. You don't feel like you're making progress. I never felt that. Did
I
you?
felt like we were making crazy
Yeah,
progress
same.
because you see people below you and you're like, oh wow, we were just there 2 minutes ago.
Exactly.
And we weren't like huffing and puffing, but we were definitely making like we were moving at a pretty good pace.
Yeah, I think so.
I took a few pictures here and there, but that didn't really stop us too much.
Yeah,
The
there were.
trail was really well maintained.
Yeah,
A lot of like roots coming out of the ground from all those trees and all
right,
that stuff, but it's nothing that anyone couldn't handle.
right. Lots of there were a few people that were like passing us, but and like there were obviously seasoned hikers, so there were people with these massive packs. Some people were solo hiking, a
Yeah,
couple people with a small group, but they
yeah,
would like come flying past us.
but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but for the most part, we didn't get past too much. We
We
didn't.
didn't get past too
We
much.
passed a few groups when we were going up.
Right.
Um,
They usually the family
yeah,
ones or the guy
exactly.
and girl.
Yeah, we might cross each other every now and then. So we didn't take a whole lot of breaks, but we took a couple of breaks. So we
Yeah,
might pass some group. We might pause at like a switchback or two ahead,
yeah,
and then they would pass us, and then we'd pass them after that, and never see them again.
yeah.
Um,
Because the trail itself was broken up into 3 parts before the lake,
Basically,
right?
right?
Switchbacks in the
Hmm.
very beginning until you get to the top where there was a meadow and that first lake,
Right,
and then the almost the descent because you climbed up the side of the mountain.
right,
Then you had to descend to the lake.
right. Exactly.
So yeah, during the switchback part, we only took about like 3, 4 breaks.
I think so. Like
The
four, like any and like long breaks, 3, 4
yeah
break, like 3, 4 like steady breaks where we stopped. We ate a couple of grapes, had
yeah that was
got
the
some.
first break that we took right
Yeah,
at like switchback 15 or 16. Like
yeah,
we ate a handful of grapes,
yeah.
went to the bathroom, pissed off the side of the mountain, and then we're like, all right, are we good to go? We good to go?
Exactly.
And then we took another break at around like 25. I want
20,
to say
25, something like that, and then
took a few pictures there
yeah.
because it started to like get that clearing in the
Yeah, because
trees.
once it started to clear, we every now and then we pause, just take a couple pictures, like just like a quick 5, 10 second pause,
Right.
literally just to snap a picture and then keep moving. And that was nice too, just to give your legs a quick break because I could definitely feel it in my calves as we were moving up.
We I felt it in my calves. Switched back too. We were
My calves were screaming at me at some point.
imagine the switchback sort of height as oscillating between like a 3 and a 6 on the treadmill. Really,
Yeah,
it was constant too.
yeah.
Sometimes it will be flat, but most of the times it's
It
anywhere
was just
between 3 and 6.
right,
That thing, the switchbacks climb real quick on us.
right. And I think we probably climbed for about an hour and 40, about an hour and a half, hour and 45, I think, before we finally made it to the second leg of the trail, which was a little more leveled. Would you say an hour and a
Yeah,
half,
because
hour and 45?
at the end of that part is where we got to the fake meadow clearing, right? Where
Yeah,
it's a
so
little bit flatter. People were camping up there.
yeah, so we saw a couple of people camping as we were going up. We finished the switchbacks. We're approaching this little flat area, and there's like these little rocks you kind of have to climb up. So you can, use your hands, you work your way up.
Yeah,
That was the hardest part. I'm putting air quotes. It wasn't difficult, but it would definitely be. It's just a little more
four
work.
points of contact.
Yeah, it'd be a little more difficult for like kids and definitely for dogs and stuff like that. But I think it was pretty easy just to get up there. But the whole time we were climbing, we never really had to use our hands. This is the only time that we actually had to use our hands.
Yeah,
And so we get up and it really just kind of levels out. So you're walking for maybe a quarter mile or so, and it's relatively leveled. It might be inclining and declining a bit. That's when we saw the people camping out. Ran into this group of like college students, maybe.
yeah. But even before then, we started to see like those like
Yeah.
the views of the
Oh
mountainside,
yeah, yeah,
and then that's when we started to fully understand how high we were.
yeah. We started to snap a lot more pictures at this point.
Yeah,
Took a couple pictures of ourselves.
yeah,
Um, we see this group. They offer us some vodka. We're
yeah. The,
like,
the college kids,
yeah,
like 6 kids came come like clown caring
basically.
out of this tent.
I still think that they had a couple of tents. I saw one tent further away. It may or may not have been theirs. It's hard to tell, but
Right.
there was one tent like right on the path, and they like greeting people, saying good morning. And then this dude like offers us some vodka. We're like, nah, I'm
Like,
good.
I'm like,
It's
nah,
not
dude,
really
that's the
time.
last thing I need right now.
Exactly.
He goes, that depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I need today. I was like, all right, playboy.
All right, man. Do you?
Yeah,
So we continue walking. And there's like this. It's like people. I saw online people referring to like the decoy lake. It was kind of
yeah.
a. I don't think there's any way
It
you
was
can.
like almost a small pond, really.
I hardly think you can you can confuse the lake that you're looking for with this particular pond or lake, whatever you want to call it. Um, but you kind of start to descend, so it takes you down the opposite side of the
Yeah.
mountain. And as you descend, it's pretty steep, and it was actually wet. So there was a lot of like mud and dirt that had been soaked in water, so it made it a bit slippery. So we had to be
Right.
careful as we worked our way down. And at this point, we start to run into a couple of groups that were leaving. I think some of them had camped out. Maybe they were leaving in the morning. Some of them got there a little before us. They stayed briefly and they started to leave. But we start to run to people, and we're just working our way down. We're trying to be a little careful. All of a sudden, we hear those same college students that just like really, really loud behind us. We can hear them rapidly approaching, and we're like stopping for a lot more pictures at this point. So at some point, we just essentially have to let them pass. They're literally like jogging through,
Yeah.
and we're trying to be careful to not slip as we go
Right.
down. They're like
They're
jumping
just
down these.
flying.
Yeah, one kid was barefoot.
One kid was barefoot. Show off. But for us, it was just because the angles down were a lot steeper. It was wet rock and
Right.
wet dirt. The last thing we want to do is take an L there
Yeah,
before we
exactly.
even get to the lake.
Right.
So we slowly make our way there, and there's that one point where you sort of come up. There's a little path, and there's a small clearing in between the trees. And that's when you see the lake for the first time.
Oh yeah.
That was a magical moment
Yeah.
because you finally got there.
Absolutely. And so, like, and everyone else too, every time you pass by these people, you always say, like, good morning, hello, how you doing?
Yeah, everyone
How's it
was
going? People,
pretty
super friendly people.
super friendly people on that trail.
Yeah. So then we start to, see people, we start taking pictures. People are talking to each other.
Yeah, we climbed up to like this side part, like before we actually descended to the lakeside.
Yeah.
It had this like nice overview look of the entire sort of lake, the mountains around it, the glaciers out in the distance. It was we were able to get some pretty nice photos.
Yeah.
And then we made our way down to the side of the lake.
Yeah. Made our way to the side of the lake. At first, I wanted to kind of cross over because there's an outlet where the water goes from the lake out to wherever it goes.
Yeah.
But the only way to connect was this pretty thin log.
Yeah.
And I was 100% committed to go across, and then Sam was like, I don't think I really want to go over there. And I was like, all right, that's fine. So
yeah, because I just figured, okay, like the log is about like maybe 2 foot like width lengths, or you know what I mean, like 2 feet wide. I want to say
like literally like the width of your foot. That's what he means.
Yeah.
Not like 2 actual feet, the unit
Yeah,
of measurement, not 24 inches.
2 feet
It may have
wide.
been like 6 inches wide.
6 inches wide, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, so I can totally stand on this thing because other people were doing it.
Right.
Like, but I got a backpack with like a camera,
Yeah.
phone, wallet, all my food.
Is it worth it?
Is
to
it
make
worth
over there?
it for the potential fall back first, backpack soak immediately, everything ruined? It's like, I don't know, dude.
All right. So we found we found this nice rock, literally just like, I don't know, 20 feet away from that
20
log.
feet away, yeah.
We just posted up there.
Posted up, and we just sort of sat back, cracked open those Cokes first.
Yeah.
Sat back and just tasted it,
My girlfriend she sent me some hand wipes. So shout out to Elena. We were able to wash our hands a little bit before we ate.
Yeah.
Cracked open those Cokes and started making some sandwiches.
Oh god, the sandwiches are so good. But you're right. That's when we realized how much food we packed.
Yeah, because the thing was that the whole way up, right? Sandy, you barely drank anything. I'd gone through.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I went through one Gatorade before we finally reached that flat part. So it was probably an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours till I finally finished my first drink.
Right.
Then I cracked open a water, which I barely touched till we made it to the lake.
Yeah.
So at this point, I've only finished one Gatorade. You have finished like a quarter of a Gatorade.
I drank a quarter of the Gatorade. I kind of forgot that I had Gatorade on me.
It's so much. So I packed an extra bottle of everything that you did not pack. So you packed, I think, 2 Gatorades.
2
I packed
Gatorades
3.
and 2 waters.
Oh, you did 2 waters. Okay, so I did 4 waters.
4 waters, 3 Gatorades. You had 7 bottles of liquid in
man.
your bag.
Exactly.
No wonder your bag was so heavy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I was prepped, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
So you never know. You get lost out there. You got to stay the night.
God.
Something happens. Make sure you have the proper drink. So
Yeah.
I'm at this point, I think I finished maybe my first bottle of water too. Right.
Uh-huh.
We have our Cokes, and eat some turkey. Oh, and then so the only snacks that we had on the way up then were the grapes. So we never touched any of our snacks other than the grapes.
None of the trail mix that we brought.
None of the trail mix. We left the chips and the cookies in the car, which we didn't open.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to be eating them because we're sitting there talking in the car in the grocery store. Like,
we're like, oh, we're gonna snack on the way up.
Snacking on the way up. But we ate pretty good. We ate a pretty good breakfast.
Yeah.
So The problem was that was really the problem, which was a good problem, I guess. We
Yeah.
ate a proper
Well,
breakfast
because
instead of
we
eating.
were chock full of energy from the barbecue the night before and the dense breakfast that we had that morning.
Yeah, and I was still going on. We were going on 3 hours of sleep. I was a little. That was the thing I was worried the most about. 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna be
And
struggling.
driving on that for like 2 hours on
Yeah,
3 hours of sleep, but I wasn't tired at any part of that drive though.
we were talking the whole time. We
Yeah, I
weren't
think
just
we're
playing music
excited
the whole
too.
time,
I
and
think we're
then
excited to
yeah,
like catch up and
yeah,
look forward to the hike. So yeah, we get to so we're sitting on this rock by the lake, and that's when we start to take our food out. I was like, oh my god. So we both have about 2 pounds of grapes. Okay. A pound and a half of turkey.
yep.
12 slices of cheese.
And a pound and a half of turkey is probably like 25, 30 slices of turkey.
It's a lot of
It's a
turkey.
lot of turkey.
It's a lot of turkey. 8 rolls.
8 rolls.
And then you had your trail mix. I had my trail mix.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was like, all right, we bought all this turkey. I put like maybe 4 or 5 slices on there with like 2 slices of cheese and that beautiful, beautiful chipotle
The
mustard.
chipotle mustard.
And then I ate it. I was like, oh my god, this is actually a lot of turkey in this sandwich right now. I thought like a pound and a half. Oh, you killed 3/4 of a pound. I killed 3/4 of a pound. That's nothing. Then you
Right.
think to yourself, 3/4 of a pound of meat. That's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
And I thought it's like, oh, we'll make one big sandwich first, and then before we
Exactly.
leave, we'll make another
That was the
small
plan. We're
sandwich.
sitting there talking about all this stuff. Like
We were talking shit.
I thought we were gonna eat so much at the top. I
Yeah.
really thought that I was gonna be able to eat a whole sandwich at the top.
Yeah.
Right. I thought when I finished my sandwich, I wasn't gonna be completely full. I would snack on some trail mix, and I would eat some grapes. Maybe
Yeah.
open that fruit cocktail, eat that,
Well, you
and
left
then
the fruit
chill.
cocktail, right?
You left your fruit cocktail. I brought mine for us anyway.
Oh, that's right.
So
Good move.
I was like, all right, we're gonna be at the top for like 2 hours. So we sit there for 2 hours. We're gonna eat a sandwich on the and then head down.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to do was eat before we went down.
Right.
I ate some grapes at the top, which I probably had too many grapes. That was a bad look. But
Oh yeah.
your story is still the best. Instead of eating grapes, what did you eat, Sandy?
Oh my god. So on my flight over, because I have airline fee credit with my platinum card. That's a plug. That's a shameless plug. I bought this trail mix that's like almonds. What kind of nuts were there? There's like three
I
kinds
don't
of
remember
nuts,
the
right?
nuts. I just remember the blueberry
Three
clusters.
kinds of nuts with cranberry and blueberry clusters, right? So it's like imagine like these like perfect small like
Cubes.
cubes of like nuts and berries together. And so I'm like eating this. I gave you some. They're good,
They're good.
right? I'm just like eating it and then like eating some grapes and eating some more of this trail mix. Eat my sandwich. Eat some more of this trail mix. I,
Sip some
I,
Coke.
I sip some Coke. Eat some more of that trail mix. We're all sitting there the entire time. I look at the bottom of this trail mix bag. Like, oh fuck! I ate the whole thing. I go because you only had like 3 clusters.
I literally hit 3. You give me 3. I don't know
I
how
give
many
you
you had.
3, and I looked. And I was like, okay, serving size is 6 clusters.
Oh, okay, so I had half a serving.
You have half a
Jesus.
serving. How many servings are there? Oh, there's 5. How many calories per serving? $1.40. You do the math.
90 calories of fat.
700 calories. I basically eat close to 740 calories from the trail mix alone. I
Yeah.
felt like such a fat fuck at that point. I was like, oh Jesus. I guess I had enough energy though.
We considering how much we just did, the 740 calories is nothing.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
My phone says that yesterday we walked 14 miles.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
No, I don't believe it because the trail is listed at 3.5 miles. I saw people in the reviews say that their GPS tracked it at 4.5.
You know what might have been it? My phone bouncing up and down on that wilderness drive. It might because we weren't driving fast.
Yeah, we were going slow. We were driving maybe 10 miles an hour, so it could have been
Right.
that.
So I might have thought that I was moving. So maybe that's it.
Yeah,
Because the road was really choppy.
yeah,
So maybe that's it.
right.
But still, it was getting up to that point when we finally sat down on the lake was such a nice moment to finally sit down because we didn't sit down at all
Yeah,
on our way up
yeah.
and to give our legs some nice rests.
Yeah, so that was the thing that we're worried about because when you're going up, if it would feel amazing to sit down or at least to stop moving for a few minutes. The problem is starting to go again. My legs are screaming at me the whole time up,
Oh yeah.
like saying, we should just take a quick break right here. You should just relax. Um, but if you wait too long, then starting to move again just hurts even more than continuing.
Right.
So when I would stop, I was mostly just trying to catch my breath as opposed to let my legs feel relaxed and like stop hurting. It was
Right.
like, all right, just catch your breath, once you're you got your RP your beats per minute down for your heart rate to
Down a
just
little bit.
come down a
Yeah,
little bit, then you just keep
you gotta
moving.
keep going
Um,
because the as the switchbacks increase in count, the motivation, or I guess the urge to stop increased,
right,
and that would destroy any sort of urge to continue going
right,
if you sat down for too long.
right.
Yeah, but we ate a good amount, and then we decided, let's sit somewhere else on the logs.
Yeah. So where we were sitting was a little like because we were near the outlet. So we decided to move a little closer to
The
the actual
main
lake with
area.
to where it was a lot more aquamarine the color.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot more
a
people.
lot more people. So that was the thing that we're at the top. So those college kids that we saw, they were really loud. That everyone is really quiet. It's a really peaceful place. You
Yeah,
don't hear like very much at
families are
all.
chilling with them. Like couples are just chilling together.
Yeah,
No one's really saying too
the
much.
only thing that you really hear, the occasional conversation from people that are sitting close to you, and the water and going down,
Yeah,
out in the stream. But then there are these kids that are like yelling and screaming. They're not even like too far from each other, but they're just talking so loudly, everybody can hear them. And I don't know if it bothered like it didn't bother me too much.
it was just a bad
It really
look.
just didn't bother me too much, but it became too much at some point because we were there around them for so long.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
and like I can hear the things that they're saying. Like the girl's like, "Oh, I literally only met them like 2 weeks ago."
It's like
I'm like,
nobody cares.
"Yeah." I'm
Nobody
just sitting there like
cares.
I'm just sitting like, "Oh, so you camped out up here with these dudes that you just met 2 weeks ago? Like, what is
Yeah.
that?" But so we
We
go
ain't
over.
making personal statements today. We are not making personal statements today.
So we go over to this log. At this point, they kind of moved to the opposite end of the lake, so we don't even hear or see them anymore.
Right.
And I decided to just lay out on this log. So I lay down on the log.
Sun was nice
It was a great so I started to get a little cool when we were hanging out like
on the
on the
rock.
rock. I started to get a little chilly because the wind was blowing, and I still had like I was still covered in sweat on my shirt. And as the wind would blow, it would be too cold.
Right.
But at this point, I really started to dry out. The sun came out, the wind stopped blowing, and that was perfect.
Right.
That's
Right. Right.
exactly what I wanted.
So you were able to lay out on the log a little bit, really rest your legs, take your weight off your knees and everything.
Yeah,
And I was sitting next to you with my legs on this other log, and I decided to like lean forward a little bit and just like passed out. I took like a legit like 5 minute power nap.
I just lay there. We were probably sitting there for like 20, 30 minutes.
20, 30 minutes. Yeah, I was like in and out of consciousness.
Yeah,
That sun sort of beating down on your neck was real comfortable. Looking at the lake, just hearing the water rushing around.
yeah,
And then we decided around 1 o'clock
yeah. We
to say,
said
you know what, let's head back.
Yeah, so it took us 2.5 hours
Two and a
to
half
beat.
hours.
So we left at 8:45, reached the top at about 11:15, hung out until 2 o'clock. So we hung out for about an hour and 45.
Which, if you think about it, 2.5 hours, 3,300 feet up,
Uh huh.
not bad.
No, it's not. And there were lots of people that started to show up at this point. So lots of dogs, lots of families, lots
Lots
of
of little
people,
kids.
and there were a decent amount of kids. I was surprised at how many kids
Yeah.
made it up. And then just lots of people in general. So we tried to get out of there before other people started to leave, so we didn't have to run into too many people. Now, the thing that I also read online is that it starts to get really crowded. Like lots of people don't show up as early as we showed up. So when we were leaving, I was concerned that we would be running into a lot of people,
Yeah.
and that proved true. So we leave at about 1,
Right.
snap a couple of pictures,
Yep.
and
One last bathroom break before
one
we hit
last
the
bathroom
road.
break. And you decided to start a timer to see, because I was saying I don't think it would take us too long to hit that second leg where it gets a
Right.
little flat. I said it'd probably take us like half an hour to just to climb out of here because again we have to come back down on the opposite side of the mountain.
Right.
So we start to climb, and this is when we start to run into a lot of people.
A ton of people and a
Yeah,
ton of people playing music. Like it
yeah,
wasn't too loud,
no,
but it was just more of a I guess a social
yeah,
more social groups coming. And the worst part about going back to where we started, so going back on the trail, was depending on the width of the trail, you would have to stop.
exactly. And we're climbing up, right? So we're climbing up. We want to keep our momentum, keep going, because I'm already like from climbing up. My legs hurt. So
Yeah,
starting back again, even despite the rest, my legs are still, they're still
yeah,
feeling
they're
it.
gonna need it. Yeah,
I don't want to stop. The problem is we keep running to different groups and they're excited. They're exhausted from climbing up, but they're excited to get to the lake. They just want to get there.
right.
So what happens is we're letting a lot of people pass. Lots of people coming up behind us want to go too, and they're just groups that keep coming. So we're trying to make it so that we don't wait for too many groups, but we keep moving because then the people that are behind us start to feel like, all right, I just want to go around you because you're just letting too many people go.
Right.
So we were trying to move. We were quick though. When we would finally let people, when people would stop passing us, we were blazing ahead of the
We
people that were behind
ran
us.
up,
That's almost what we did. We almost ran up the mountain to get
yeah,
out.
to get to the top of the mountain. To ran
Right,
up the lakeside
right, because
of the mountain.
we were literally just trying to get through as many narrow paths as possible before other groups started to come and try to
Right. It
pass
was
us.
literally, you're right. The second we were done letting a group through, it was bound up as quickly as
Yeah,
possible, and
without being dangerous because it was slippery still.
it was still a little bit slippery, but because we are moving up, we could be a little bit faster,
Right.
a little bit more liberal with where how fast we were moving,
Yep.
and then before you had to stop again.
Right.
And then once we got to the meadow, we were basically jogging,
Almost right.
almost jogging how fast we were moving because at that point the it's not really a trail. The trail's super wide at that point,
Right.
so there's no fear of wasting time, and that's when we blazed past the people behind us because there's two groups close behind
Right.
us.
One group with the dog, I think. Right.
Yeah,
And then like and also like psychological, we know that this is the only incline that we have to do. Once we peak here, it's all downhill.
right.
So
So and that peak is when those you had the 4 points of contact, those white rocks, right?
exactly.
And then there was
At that point, we timed it all right.
yeah,
That
we
was
got there with 42 minutes.
yeah.
So we thought to ourselves, "Oh, we're making great time."
Right.
And then you said, "Oh, I think we can make it another 45 minutes,
Right. I thought we'd be able to make it back down all the way in an hour and a half,
an hour and a
until hour
half."
and a half total.
And
And
I
you were
took,
like, I'm taking the over on that one.
I'm taking the over. And the reason was just the amount of groups that were there.
So we were flying down this mountain.
At
Once,
this point, we
yeah,
decided
we were like, because
running.
here's the thing. So I was saying, do you think like the seasoned joggers are like complaining about us, just saying like they're dumb for like moving as quickly as we were? But I just feel like it was still the most efficient and best way to get down because it was steep-ish, but
Right,
it was easier to jump around like the roots and the little divots in the ground than it was to like sit there and to put all that pressure on your knee to stop yourself on these steeper segments.
right.
So I felt like it was the easiest way is to kind of like hop around
We were
and then take your
hopping
and
sort of like side to side as
yeah,
we went down.
yeah, and then you slow down a little bit, and then you kind of find again the most appropriate path to get down, and we just quickly jump around.
And I would sort of eye like because we were moving fast
Yeah,
enough
but I don't.
where I would just eye like flat surface, flat surface, flat surface, not think too far ahead. It was just like
Yeah,
one flat surface at a time.
exactly.
And if it was a hop, you just hop and just like sort of saw for a split second, like where am I landing my feet?
Right.
I feel like if I wasn't as focused on where I was landing my feet and I stepped on a root, I could have taken a hard L.
For sure.
Because
For sure.
because of the speed we were
We were pretty.
I don't want to say we were running.
We were not. No.
We were not full out running, but like if running is a 10, if like full out running is 10 out of 10, we were maybe 6.
I still think we were being super cautious too, because the thing is though that no one behind us was keeping up with us anymore.
Oh no,
The people that were with
we
us,
put
because we
that
were letting people pass us over and over again, the people that kept catching up to us,
yeah.
we flew past them and never really saw them
We never
again.
saw them again.
We also went past a lot of groups that were coming up.
Coming up,
Some
we're
of them were
like
like asking, and we were really cautious about it. We weren't like jogging past them.
yeah. We
Um,
engaged with everybody. You engaged with more
Still,
people. I engaged with more people on the way up, and you engaged with more people on the way down.
maybe I wasn't as so when we were going up. I was just a lot more tired and trying to
Yeah.
catch my breath. That I didn't want to
Waste.
waste.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
I would just
doubt.
take my time to breathe. Say how you doing. That was it. But on the way down, lots of people would be like, you could see they're gassed, and a lot of them would ask, how much further. You
Yeah.
said I was misleading people, but I think it was just I wasn't intentionally misleading people. It's because we were coming down so fast, I lost my perspective at how far
Yeah.
up they
Because
actually
we
had to
told
go.
people like at the 42-minute mark, like, oh, it's under 45 minutes. But then you think to yourself, well, you just spent all this time climbing up, so there's no way you're able to move as fast as we were.
Right. Because
Whatever.
whatever we were like, because what I was telling people was that they weren't too far from the no more exhaustion. Like you're not going to be exhausted anymore.
Right.
Once you hit the 4 points of contact, it's walking like on flat
That
surface.
checkpoint, right? It's
Yeah,
basically the highest
it's
point of the mountain.
yeah, flat surface, and then you're going down. So you're no
Yeah.
longer going to be as exhausted and tired as you are now.
Right.
This is the hardest part. Just finish this and you're good.
Yeah.
Um,
And then the groups that we were passing were like families, more young couples, a lot more like trainers, people that like weight training. You could tell
yeah,
a lot of larger dudes just literally carrying up water.
yeah,
People in full army rucksacks doing it, like marching up there
right,
almost.
right.
Um,
They were cruising too. And then a couple people that were like a lot of like younger people just coming up with their music and stuff.
with
That's
their
when we start.
music.
We literally never heard any music the whole time going up. Again, you're
Yeah,
not going to be running into a lot of people coming down at that point anyway because it's early,
right.
and we start to pass by a lot of people at this point because there are lots of people coming up. Right?
Sure.
It's just kind of it's just how it's going to work. But a lot of people coming up in the afternoon. And again, I was surprised by that because it's the whole thing in total. It's listed at 7.5 hours. Right?
Hmm.
Say 2.5 hours to get up, maybe 3 hours to get up. I
Right.
think 2.5 hours is too quick. So 3.5 hours, I think is what it's listed at.
Right.
And to come back down, they put it at like say 2.5. So you take your time to enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you really want to enjoy it and come back down, you don't intend on camping there. These people were coming up way too late.
They were coming up really late because it was 1 o'clock
It's
at that
yeah, it's
point.
already past noon. If they're going to be doing 7 hours, it'll be 8 o'clock by the time they get back to their cars.
It's just not safe.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look. Because think of all the different types of routes that we had. Just roots
Yeah,
on roots on roots with rocks everywhere. Pretty steep inclines.
and it's so much like the canopy, like it's a very dense area, like with
Sure.
trees. And so if you're coming down after sunset or at sunset, it's you're just not going to get anywhere near as
Right.
much light as
It's
we
just
were
gonna be
getting to
dangerous
see.
because then you're moving down switchbacks. You're on the side of a mountain. What are you gonna use? Your cell phone light? Come on.
Right.
It's not a good look.
Now people could be camping. I don't know.
Who
I
knows?
mean,
It just didn't look like they were bringing camping gear up.
exactly. A lot of people weren't coming up with camping gear. A lot of people may have not been trying to peak too. I was thinking about it. Like some people could just live close enough to this area. Maybe they were just going for a good workout. They go halfway up, they come back down. I don't know. People could have the year pass because you can get a
They
year pass
might.
for all these different types of parks. It
But
costs
Blanca
$30
Lake
for
is
the year.
just so beautiful that I just don't understand why you'd be on this trail.
I know. I just feel like if you're a local though, it could just be something to do. You know,
Maybe.
maybe you peak and you come back down. Maybe people don't even go to
Maybe.
the lake. I
You're
don't know.
right. Maybe. Um. So yeah, we were just like you and I are flying, and you.
Yeah.
It was. I don't want to say we demoralized people because you could tell some people were looking at us like, Jesus,
Right.
because we were like if they moved to the side, like, hey, appreciate it, thanks, thanks,
Right.
and me and you were
And they were
just
like, "No, thank
running.
you." We're like,
Yeah,
"No, thank you." We give them like an excuse to make a quick stop to just catch
yeah,
their
and we
breath.
would just fly past them.
Yeah.
And a couple times you saw my ankle like roll that one time. I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." That was just weird. I sort of heard you slide behind me. I was like, "You good?"
Yeah. A
I
couple times.
throw a hand out like that was gonna save you. And then we just ran all the way down. Uh,
There were a couple people that were a little quicker than us, which surprised me.
we so there was two couples that we sort of bumped into, right? The one
Yeah.
Latino couple and then the one really fit couple with the dog.
Yeah.
The Latino couple, this dude, he legit was running down these switchbacks,
Yeah.
and he just like that was all inspiring because that man was just flat out running. His girl was not running. His girl was like, "Nah, come
Yeah.
on." And then we got to a point where a massive group was coming up, and then the three of us
Yeah.
sort of stopped to let them pass. The Latino group looked at us and was like, all right, let's start going. So I started moving, and then the couple behind us with the dogs, like, hey, do you guys mind if we jump in front of you? It was like, oh yeah, sure, go for it.
I was still convinced at this point that we were moving faster than them, and the only reason that we were slowing down is because the couple in front of us and the people that we were letting pass that were
Yeah,
coming up. So I was convinced that we were going to just have to pass them anyway.
right.
I was wrong.
Very wrong because that couple with the dog,
Disappeared.
they put that in a hyperdrive. And I was like, where do they go? And you'd only see them like a switchback or two down. I mean, it was only like theoretically like one switchback length away,
Right.
but they were making good pace. And the girl was she was leading point
Yeah.
in
Because the
that
dude was
duo.
with the dog, and she was going
That
ahead
was a beautiful
herself.
dog too. This huge golden retriever.
Yeah.
It was a great dog.
But the nice thing at this point was that there were two things that happened. It wasn't as steep anymore, and there were a lot more roots, so it made it difficult to move as quickly as we were
Yeah,
before.
because
So
we
we were
weren't gonna take an L
yeah.
at that point.
Yeah, so we were moving a lot slower, but we also weren't running into people anymore because it was so late in the day. At this point, it's like 3.
Yeah.
It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're not running to people that are going up anymore unless they were going to camp,
Right.
or they were just doing this trail just to for a workout or whatever it was. So at this point, it's just us. We're just going at our own pace.
Yeah.
The people ahead of us are ahead of us, and I think we get like much closer to the bottom. Finally, make it like switchback 3, 2, and 3,
Switchback 2 or 3 were
and
starting to get a little bit less
yeah.
incline,
Yeah,
and then
or
we
decline. So
decline. I'm
it was
sorry.
leveled, and there weren't very many routes. We just started jogging
We just
almost.
started jogging at the end, and then we
Right.
caught up to the dog
Yeah, right at the very end, we
right at
caught
the
up to them.
very end, like the last like 50 yards. I want to say.
Yeah, we
We
were
caught
right
up. We were
there.
right behind them, and then I pulled out my phone and said an hour 45.
Hmm.
And I want to say we would have made the sub hour 30 if no one else is coming our way.
Yeah, from the moment that we left, because we had. Yeah, from the moment that we left, we let a lot of people pass. So if we never had to let anybody pass, that was the worst part. We just had to when we were trying to climb out.
Yeah. Like you remember
That's when
that
we
one
made a
group
lot
of
of.
like the senior citizens?
Yeah. Oh, they amazed me. There was this group of like older people. They
Like
were
like
senior,
60 to 80s
60 to 80s climbing. They were
climbing this
working their
mountain
way
down
down.
with
I'm like, Jesus.
with the poles in each hand, making their way down.
I made the comment to you later. I was like, yo, if I'm like 40 or 50 years old and I'm still capable of doing this, I'll call that a win.
Yeah. And I just said,
I've
I'm
been
gonna call you. I'm gonna call you and we're gonna do this.
like, if I'm 60, 70
Yeah.
years old doing this, I don't think
Inspiring
I'd be able.
stuff.
I don't know if I would.
Really inspiring
I really
stuff.
don't know if I would do it, but
But it's funny because they all had that like white hiker like hat on, like
yeah,
that
man. They had the double poles. Lots of people were utilizing the hell out of those poles.
and I realized, you know what, I was giving people shit for the double poles, but the
I
double
never
poles really help.
I never gave anybody shit for it, but I also don't know if I really want to use them. It'd be I think people will I feel like some people may have overutilized them
Oh, true.
because there were lots of people that wouldn't take a step without it, you know?
Yeah,
They
and I
made
was just
sure
like, nah, dude,
it
you.
wasn't that steep. It
Yeah,
wasn't really called
I
for in
kind of
my
also
mind.
like not having stuff in my hands, so
Yeah.
that if I'm about to like fall or something, like I can sort of like brace for impact in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to like have poles like sort of like dangling off my wrist while I try and go down. Like that's just too much stuff I got to worry about.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got down an hour 45, and then getting out was a little tough.
Oh my goodness, getting out. So
Oh, gee, you're right. You're right. Cause go
Sandy
ahead.
drove up, right? Sandy drove to Blanca Lake, and I drove back home. So
Yeah.
when we're driving out of there, there's so many. Like I'd seen this online. People said when you drive out, you need to get there early because the parking lot can only fit about 20 to 30 cars, which is true, right?
Right.
Oh, and we also noticed quite a few people with tickets because I saw the people in the morning that didn't have
Oh
parking tickets.
yeah.
Some people had tickets. No idea how much the tickets cost, but I made sure that we had everything that we needed to not get ticketed. We
Right.
paid $10.
Appreciate that.
Um, paid $10 the ticket. I don't know how much it could have been.
Yeah.
But we're driving out, and as we said before, the road's pretty narrow. It's going to be really tough for two cars to come to pass each other on these roads. There are so many cars, maybe for a good mile, that are
Hmm.
parked along the sides of the roads, and it alternated from them being parked on the right and the left. I still wonder why that happened or how that happened.
Or how they were able to coordinate something like that.
Right. So we're driving out and we're following this like I don't know Chrysler SUV, whatever it
Yeah.
was. Right, we're following this SUV right out of the parking lot. We follow them as they go around, and as we're driving up behind them to pass these cars that are parked along the left, this car on the opposite side just pulls out and
Pulls
doesn't stop.
doesn't stop. I don't want to say gunning it.
They seemed like they were pissed. They seemed like they were angry because at this point we're stuck. There's someone apparently behind them, which I couldn't even tell at
Right.
that point. But I literally had to back up, right? But I can't just back up like 10 feet. I have to keep backing up. The cars are alternating on the left and right side of the road, so I'm literally going back and forth between the left and the right. Maybe like I don't know. It was maybe a quarter of a mile at the most. We were
Yeah.
backing up till I finally find a spot where I can just park and let the car go. And he didn't even like wait for me to fully get in.
He
He
just
just went. He
blew
just blew
right through,
past.
and I wanted to.
Right. So then
I almost
after
lost my
him,
temper there.
I know.
I would have gotten
Well,
out of the
we were
car.
really upset because we're already tired. Coming down the mountain, obviously much easier than going up the
But you're
mountain.
still,
But
yeah,
our legs are sore. Our quads definitely hurt. Our
yeah,
hamstrings definitely hurt from having to stop.
yeah.
My feet, like my heels hurt just from the impacts coming down,
Right.
and my joints hurt. I'm just tired.
You're just
I want
tired
to
overall.
go.
It's been a long day.
I just want to go, and I feel like this dude had an attitude, and I don't want to deal
Yeah,
with his attitude. So
yeah,
we so they pass, and another couple cars pass, and then
yeah,
I was getting ready to go. You're like, no, I'm gonna get out, and I'm gonna make sure it's clear.
yeah,
So Sandy gets out, jogs up the road.
yeah.
You were cruising. You were. I'm serious. I'm behind Sandy driving. I see he's moving at 11 miles an hour because I'm going 11
Is
miles
that
an hour.
fast or is that slow? I feel like that's
You go on a
slow.
treadmill, right? You go on a treadmill. If you run at a 6, you're running at 6 miles an hour. So you were
Oh, that's
basically at a
smart.
you're basically at a full sprint
I was at a
on
full sprint, but it was
the
crazy
treadmill.
because not only was I wearing hiking boots, it was 5 hours later after this ridiculous trail,
Right.
and I had to take a shit all day. I had to take a shit all day, and I couldn't find a spot to do that.
There's the bathroom was not the bathroom at the top isn't a four-door bathroom.
No, no,
It's
no.
just a designated like pit. Like
Yeah,
it's just a clearing in the woods,
yeah.
and there are lots
I
of
should have had
flies
you
going around.
sit like run like bouncer, but yeah, I'm not, dude. Someone's taking a shit in the woods right now. You can't go over there. And we ate all those
The
grapes, all
grapes.
that fiber. I'm surprised.
I thought you had a whole coffee. later find out you sip like you of this
3
20
sips.
this 24 ounce of coffee.
I did 3
Sandy had
sips.
like
And
maybe 2 ounces of the
two,
coffee.
not even 2 ounces. I spilled most of it on the dashboard driving because we looked down and there's coffee everywhere. And I go, when did this happen? He go, oh, that's my bad. That's my bad. But
So
you're right. I basically sprinted down to try and get in front of any car. But yo, stop. Pull over to the side. We got mad. We got a ton of cars coming through. Just kidding. It's only my car. Made you look. But then you
we
pulled up. And I
didn't
heard you
run it. We didn't run into one car.
didn't run. But you know what?
It was worth it.
It was worth it. And then you said I was running at 11 miles an hour. I go,
Yeah.
oh right, that's not bad.
Yeah.
So
So at that point, we just drive out.
drive out,
Drove past a couple cars that were coming
couple
up. I was
cars.
like, it's not a good look for them to be showing up.
Yeah,
Again, it is about 3:15 at
at
this
this
point.
point,
You can't go up this mountain unless you're planning on camping out, which they very well could have been doing. Thing is, we never saw anybody who was pulled
packing
over.
hiking gear.
Yeah, we never saw anybody who was pulled over when we were coming up that were clearly staying the night. So maybe
Right.
they were banking on people that got there early to leave, like us, so they can get a parking spot at the top.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting that people would be pulling up this late, especially where we were, because the only place that you can get to at this point is the Blanca Lake Trail, because
Right.
the trail does continue that you can drive up, but it was actually blocked off.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So we drive out of there. It took us about 30 minutes to drive off this road because you're only driving like 10, 15 miles an hour. Anytime I sped up a little bit, I became a little worried because there were lots of bumps in the road, and I didn't want it to drive into like a large bump and screw up the suspension or anything like that.
Right.
And also, I had to drive more in the middle because if you drove on the right, it was just too much gravel. It was too bumpy. So I drove more in the middle of the road, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to be cautious that anybody coming
Yeah.
along on the opposite side wouldn't be doing the same thing as me. So
Yeah.
we worked our way out. Finally hit the road. Got home, 5:15.
5:15.
So it was an 11-hour trip. Total 11-hour journey. Left at 6:15 in the
Hell
morning.
of a day.
Got back
Hell
at
of a day.
5:15.
Of all the stuff that we've done here, this is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
For sure. We
Yeah.
were blessed with beautiful weather.
Right.
We did that on 3 hours sleep, which is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
I was struggling at night. You were able to stay up a lot harder than I was.
Yeah. We were watching. We were trying to stay up because you would need to check
I
into
need
your
to check in
flight.
my flight at 10:20. It
So I
just
was
seemed
chilling.
like so we ate dinner. We were like watching Colin Quinn's special.
Yep.
We were basically eating our lunch food again for dinner.
Yep.
At around like 9:40, I was like, nah, dude, I gotta go to bed because we watched the Bill Burr special.
Yeah.
The
We watched
old,
Bill Burr's
old HBO.
HBO special.
And I was like, dude, I gotta go to bed. But I still had to check in my flight. So what I ended up doing was I lay down on the couch. I set an alarm on my phone, and I put that phone on my head, on my forehead.
Yeah. No, it's
And,
no lie.
no lie. And I fell
With the phone on
asleep.
his forehead.
I
You
fell asleep, and I woke up because something on my forehead was vibrating. And I was like, what? Check into my flight. And then like half eye open, slowly making my way through the app. Zone 1. And I just threw my phone, and I passed out.
Yep.
And then we slept hard.
Yeah.
We slept hard that night until about 6 a.m.
The baby. They can hear us. There's a so I'm staying at this place. It's a month to month lease. You can, or not lease, but month to month you can just stay, fully furnished apartments. You get tons of different people that are coming out here, whether for internships, people that are waiting for a house there or an apartment that aren't ready yet. So I think it's a different group that lived here before because it seems like a small family. I don't know when the people moved out, but they had a baby and the baby was crying in the morning. So I actually heard the baby yesterday, and that's when I was worried. I was like, oh, we may have waken the baby up because we're kind of loud in the morning, I guess.
Oh, were we though?
We weren't super loud, but just it's
Just
pretty.
moving around, I guess.
You definitely hear the people. It's not super loud, but
Right.
I could hear the baby. So I woke up like at 6 in the morning this
I was
morning.
not happy.
Hear the baby.
I was not happy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, of course not. You should, but it is what it is.
But yeah, we're gonna. I think we should stop it here because
Yeah.
I got to shower. We got to eat some dinner real quick,
Yep.
and then we're gonna head out to the airport in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So on that note, I'm Sandy.
I'm Reza.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week.